Articuno! Alright, so Articuno's one of your favorite birds, and it actually was featured on one of the most powerful lines on pvbook.com's Flying Cup analysis. So Articuno is actually really good. I think I know why, but let's just go deeper into it now. So Articuno is the mascot of Team Miscut. It is extremely pretty, especially if you get the shiny, and it's an ice and flying type. Now, what makes Articuno super strong is that it has incredibly high defense and stamina. So it's a tank. With its ability to be super tanky, it can tank a lot of damage from a lot of non-weak type. So if it's not weak to it, then or if it's neutral, then you can live quite a few hits. It's like pretty much the legendary Altaria. It's like the legendary version of Altaria, pretty much. Except Altaria is just a lot stronger and outputs more damage. So with Articuno, Articuno is weak to two major types that you want to look out for: electric, fire, rock, and steel. So Steel Wing, you don't want to use it as a lead because Steel Wing, a lot of things like especially like electric, Zapdoses, rocks, which is Aerodactyls, and steels, which are Steel Wing Skarmories, are just going to destroy you. So Articuno doesn't really want to be used as a lead. I would use it as a switch or leave it in the back row. However, it does have some resistances like ground, bug, and grass. You're probably not going to see any of these in the Flying Cup, so really the only focus is its weaknesses: electric, rock, and steel. Now, what makes this kind of a... It's very hard to get a Great League Articuno. Unless you plan on using your Shadow one, do I recommend it? Let's take a look at pvbook.com after this, but in reality, it's extremely expensive to get an Articuno. You can get one now, but I don't think the one you can get actually, even if you trade it with the lowest amount of attack, will actually go below 1500. So Articuno, the only way you could actually get one is via research, or if someone trades one to you. So Great League Articuno, very rare. Very powerful, however, also very expensive, because if you want to get it at max power, you have to use Hurricane. Now, for Flying Cup, you don't really need to use an Elite TM. You could settle with Ancient Power, because you don't really need Hurricane for anything. Regardless, it's really expensive, takes 100 candy, so if you want to use one, and you do have one built, it can be viable for the Flying Cup if you want to use it. As you see, because it has high attack and defense, you actually can level it up pretty high, but it takes a lot of Stardust. Any legendary does. So again, very, very unique in the Flying Cup, but very expensive as well. Alright, so here's where Shadow Articuno and regular Articuno rank in the Flying Cup. I'll analyze both of them. Overall, Shadow is actually really good too. The only difference between the Shadow version and the regular version, obviously you lose defense, and the ratings aren't like that flipped. However, Shadow is a lot more expensive than this one, so pick your poison. If you want to use a Shadow one, it's up to you. We're going to analyze both of these just to have you take a look. So again, as a lead, you don't really want to lead Articuno. Articuno ranks at 12. That's pretty high, but based on the pvpoke teams, which you'll see on the summary, Steel Wing Skarmory, Aerodactyl, and Zapdos were some of the top teams, so you can expect to see some of those in the Flying Cup as really popular leads. So you don't want to lead with Articuno, because it's not likely you're going to encounter any of these in the lead. Same thing with Shadow Articuno. Shadow Articuno does lose pretty much the same matchups, and like I said, these are popular leads that you could probably see: Steel Wing Skarmory, Aerodactyl, and Zapdos, and Amogus, so I would not use Articuno in the lead. It can function as a switch or a closer in the best. As a switch, Articuno, as a closer, Articuno functions, and it loses pretty much the same things. However, there are certain scenarios you'll see in the Matrix to where, like, Articuno can win certain matchups as long as it has shields, etc. As a switch, Articuno ranks at number 20. Again, best used as a switch or a closer. Unfortunately, if you do lose the lead and you get paired up against Aerodactyl, it's going to be a bad day for you. So you lose against really popular switches and really powerful switches. So Articuno best used as a switch or closer, but you better hope they don't have any of these in the back if you do switch an Articuno. So theoretically, your best bet is for Articuno to actually be close out with shields. That's probably your best scenario. Alright, so here's the matrix for Articuno. Now I put both versions. Again, you don't need an Elite TM. There's no reason. You're never going to use Hurricane in this. You're pretty much never going to. Everything does so much damage here that if you somehow get to Hurricane, then your opponent's probably lagging. Anyways, here's the matrix. I'm gonna put in 2 shield for the lead. Or just because it's exactly what we beat and we don't beat. So obviously you're going to die to Aerodactyl just crushes you because you're double weak to rock. You beat Altaria. You'll go neutral against other Articunos. You beat Emolga in the 2 shield. You beat Gligar. You flip Gyarados depending on which variation you do. But you also beat Mantine in the 2 shield. So you'll beat Mantine, you'll also, which is very interesting. So in the lead, you'll actually beat Emolga and Mantine. So it's not as bad as it seems in the lead versus like the ranking simulator, the rankings per se. But you still lose against Stealing Skarmory, so you lose 2 key leads you lose against are Stealing Skarmory and Aerodactyl. So you really don't want to, and even if you line up against either one of these. We'll see as we go further down the simulation, or down the scenarios to see if like anything changes. Go to the 1 shield. Then we go down to the 1 shield. You still lose against Aerodactyl. You'll go neutral against, obviously, Shadow Articuno, regular Articuno. You're going to be Altaria just because it's double weak to Ice. You actually lose to Emolga in the 1 shield. So if you don't have 2 shields, Emolga will beat you. You lose against Well, you beat Gligar. You beat Gyarados with the regular version in the 1 shield. You lose against Mantine unless it's a Shadow. So you'll lose. This flips. So Mantine will flip in the 1 shield if you're using the regular version, which most of you will see the regular versus the Shadow version. You'll lose against both versions of Skarmory, and you'll beat Togekiss, which I don't think I've seen a Togekiss in the top leader rankings, but it's, yeah. Don't use a Charmer. Don't use Togekiss. And then we have the zeros. Oh wait, no, not that one. And then we have the zeros. So then we have zeros, and you go to the zeros, you pretty much die to, Aerodactyl rocks your world. You'll beat Altaria. Now, you'll go neutral against, of course, your own Articunos, or like other Articunos. You lose against Emolga. You beat Gyarados, Mantine, Gligar. So it looks like Mantine, the only scenario where you'll lose is in the 1 shield. Other than that, in the zeros or the 2s, you'll win. You win against Air Slash, but you lose against Steel Wing. Now, this is kind of useless because, like, I don't imagine I'll see a lot of Air Slash Skarmories running around. Steel Wing Skarmory is going to be king. So don't worry about this. Obviously, you're going to be Togekiss, and you lose against Zapdos. So in the closer or in the switch, you actually lose a lot. You lose a lot of matchups. So Articuno overall is kind of, it's okay. Like I said, it was featured on one of the top teams on PvPoke. So we're going to take a look at, we'll take a look at that. Before we read a trading sim, we'll take a look at that chart. Alright, so here's part 2 of how we're going to analyze things. What if your Articuno has a shield? What does it beat? A lot of times when people run matrices, they'll run the even scenarios, but if you run it up a shield, what do you beat? If you're up a shield, so let me just do some, let me do some things. So let me do that. 2 shields. Let me do the 1 shield. Actually, here, just in case, we'll like restart real quick, just in case. Okay, so we'll do that. You do a matrix, and then what you do, this is a good little guide. If you don't know how to run matrices yourself, this is a good guide on how to do it. Do Articuno, and then we just replace it with H-Power. Again, you don't need Hurricane, because there's no universe where you're going to get to a Hurricane. So, just do this. You just need H-Power Ice Beam when that's the moveset you're going to use. We'll go to Flying Cup meta. Go zeros. Now, we're going to analyze, what if we're up a shield? What do we beat? You beat everything in the Flying Cup meta but Aerodactyl. That's pretty nuts. So you'll beat all of the Flying Cup meta if you're up a shield. And if you're up 2 shields, I'm assuming you beat everything in the Flying Cup meta. Okay, you still don't, but you still have such a... Is the 2 shield accurate? So let me do 2 to 1s. Okay, so this is accurate. Okay, so if you're up a shield and they have no shields, you beat everything but Aerodactyl. So as long as you take out Aerodactyl, which is the hard counter, so bait out Aerodactyl, take that out, break both of their shields, and you pretty much win you'll win every matchup. That's why Articuno is so strong. Because up a shield or 2, you actually beat everything in the Flying Cup meta, including Aerodactyl itself. I mean Articuno itself. So you beat everything but Aerodactyl. So you only have one giant weakness with Articuno. And since it's everywhere, as long as you target and keep Articuno away from Aerodactyl, you can beat it very handily. Now, if you're up 2 to 1, so if they have 1 shield, if you have shield advantage, it's still kind of iffy. You'll beat everything but Skarmory and Aerodactyl. But if But as long as like if they're in the 0s to 1s, so if they have no shield and you have 1, you'll be Skarmory. So this is Articuno's best strength. Up a shield, in the 1 shield, as long as it's up a shield, it beats everything but Aerodactyl. That's Articuno's greatest strength, which makes sense of why it's so powerful in the back. Give it shield advantage, and it beats everything except Aerodactyl in the Flying Cup meta. Alright, so as you see the top teams on the training simulator, this is pretty accurate on how powerful they are. You have Skarmory, Aerodactyl, and Articuno. Now, if you look at the difference between this entire chart, there's only one team that has an Articuno in it. So, yeah, this is probably, 545 is a very strong rating. Like it says here, over 400 wins or more average. So, is Articuno the backstrat, actually works? So, we're going to take a look at it on Training Sim. I put the team right here, Skarmory, Aerodactyl, Articuno. And we're just going to run probably 3 battles to see how it does. So we get Aerodactyl versus Skarmory. We win this with Steel Wing. So our opponent switches. Good. We can switch in. I probably should have switched in Aerodactyl. Actually, that's probably why. That's probably why the Articuno is so strong. Because you can catch Altarias that switch into you. Which, yeah. Or something of that sort. Some strategy like this. In summary, Articuno is still very expensive. If you run the simulations, it's very strong in 2 scenarios against certain mons. The lead and in the closer. It has some very weird matchups in the 1 shield, so I would really take a look at what you beat and what you don't beat. I probably should have saved all that energy. There was no reason to throw it all over there. And then we get Mantine. So now Mantine this is gonna be weird because if you remember the simulation, Mantine wins. You only beat Mantine in a 2 shield. So if this is an Ice Beam, this is gonna suck. Okay, it's a Bubble Beam. That's good. Now we're gonna Icy Wind to try to keep it down, and we get an Aerodactyl. We must switch immediately. Now this is where it gets kind of dicey. We beat Aerodactyl convincingly, but this is kind of scary. To be honest with you, we're going to farm Aerodactyl down, and then our play here is we're going to try to break all the shields of that Mantine with all the sky attacks that we get. So let's just hope that play works, because anything up 2 shields in the Flying Cup is really dangerous. So we're going to try to break all the shields here. We should be able to get to 1 more sky attack before they get to another an Ice Beam. But Ice Beam does neutral damage here, so this is really dicey. Okay, so we don't get to it. Do we die? That's the question. So it looks like Articuno, where the play kind of goes is, okay, so we do, unfortunately we do. Oh, we live! What? So Skarmory will live a full-on ice, well, yeah, it lives a full-on Ice Beam from Mantine. Our opponent has to shield here. We grab the shield, and then we have an Icy Wind queued. This should KO. That's GG's. Huh. That's interesting. So I'm guessing what you do is you kind of, it can work. As you see, we won pretty strongly here. It's the first time I've ever used this team in this order. So Skarmory targets Aerodactyl, Aerodactyl targets Mantine, and then you kind of just leave Articuno to sweep, I suppose. I think that's the order. So we get Skarmory versus Skarmory here. This is sim number 2. As you see, this Skarmory's attack weight. I would look to the top right and see just what your Skarmory weighs versus other people's Skarmories. So they're both Steel Wing. So what we're going to do is we're going to get to a Brave Bird, and we're just going to wait. I'm not going to shield this one, and I hope my opponent doesn't burb, because if they do burb, it's going to suck. And what I mean by burb is Brave Bird, so that we'll leave either charge move very healthy. So I'm just going to queue a little bit of energy. We'll survive another Sky Attack. Or a bird, even if they do hit us with it. And we just want to break shields at this point. So I want to get this to the 0s. Let's see if we can get to the 0s without... Okay, so we do manage to get to the 0s. Our opponent has Burb. We have an Aerodactyl. We have 2 shields. We also have 2 shields with Articuno. Now, what I didn't look at before is probably... Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Okay, so I'm going to let Skarmory go. If this is Burb, that's fine. Okay, it's Sky Attack. I think we can get... Can we get to another one? We won't. And we will get farmed. That's fine. I will send in... I will send in Articuno. We get Zapdos. I send in our Aerodactyl here. We're going to full farm down. And I'm going to just shield everything. We're just going to use the Zapdos to just grab a bunch of energy. So with Aerodactyl with shields, this is what you want to do. You just want to save your shields for Aerodactyl. Go to town. Perfect. And then we should be able to rock slide whatever comes in, whether it be the Skarmory or whatever they have in the back. And this should take this one out. Now we have 2 full healthy Mons, and we can take out the Skarmory. Now we can take out whatever's in the back. We could either leave Articuno with a shield, or we could just farm down with Aerodactyl. What do you have? Oh, it's a mad team. Oh, this sucks for you. Yeah, this is gonna suck for my opponent. Because we're gonna do such heavy damage here. I'm not gonna shield because I don't want to risk not going at, like, we want our shield here. They get the Bubble Beam off. This can take out our Aerodactyl. We might have been able to get to a Rock Slide, but that's okay because we have energy on Articuno. So I'm just gonna throw the Icy Wind here. I don't know if this KOs, but we have the shield anyways, so we're pretty healthy here. So we can, with the debuff down, I don't believe Mantine can finish us off, and we could probably just Ice Shard down. So we could just farm down here. This might be an Ice Beam, this might be a Bubble Beam, but either way, we should be able to just farm down the Mantine with Ice Shards, and that should be GG's. So this is actually a very powerful team. We're going to do one more sim. So this team really does work. You leave Articuno or Aerodactyl in the back with shields, or you leave Skarmory with shields. So Skarmory is pretty much your shield breaker, followed by Aerodactyl taking on whatever switches into you if they lose the lead or win the lead. Then you have Articuno in the back. So it's a really interesting team, but as you see, it actually works really well. We get Altaria versus Skarmory. This is really bad. Actually, I don't know. Do we win the 2-shield here? I don't believe we do. I'm going to eat the Sky Attack or the Dragon Pulse, either or, because we don't want to use, like, we don't really want to use it here. We could probably just break shields here, farm down with Articuno if that's the case. I'm going to go to Burb, and then I'm going to go Sky Attack. So it looks like the strategy with Articuno is to just leave it in the back and then use Icy Wind to either survive a move or just give it a shield. And it might be able to take out everything. Might be able to take out a lot of things. So we're going to Sky Attack here again. I'm going to go to Burb. Okay, we're just going to take it. Either way, I'm just going to Sky Attack, and then we just want to do as much damage as we can. Because we don't want it, yeah, we should be able to live this Sky Attack, and then we can get to a Sky Attack of our own. And this, oh wow, it didn't register. Okay, that kind of sucks. Anyways, okay, so we get an Articuno versus Skarmory. Yeah, we needed that. That was really, really bad. I don't know why the game didn't register it, but it's oh wow. That's kind of annoying. We should have been able to get yeah, we should have been able to get to another move. That's okay, though. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to try to Icy Wind down. I have shields. The problem is that we are likely... we need a shield for our Aerodactyl, and we don't want Aerodactyl versus Skarmory. So what we're going to do here is we're just getting a little bit of energy here, and we're going to fire Icy Wind. And then I won't shield whatever comes in next. Skarmory doesn't have Flash Cannon. Well, I hope it doesn't, because Steel actually does super effective and stuff. So we should be able to just fire this and then just take whatever comes in next. So we can take this move, and then whatever's in the back, yeah, I hope we could take out whatever's in the back. But you're debuffed twice, so we could survive this. What do they send in? We have energy. We could possibly get to another... Okay, we do. Ooh, it's a Shadows Zapdos. Okay, so we could get to the Icy Wind here. They have the shield. So we get energy here. Opponent has to shield. We switch in. We have a shield of our own. So we should be fine here. We can farm down the Zapdos, and then we should be able to fire a Rock Slide or farm down with Ice Shard. Yep. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just fire right away as soon as I get it. Okay, I don't even get a chance to do it. That's fine. What I should have done was this Sky Attack. Does this kill? I think this kills. Okay, it doesn't kill. Ooh, Sky Attack actually doesn't kill. So we take that out. And we Rock Slide, and that's GG's. Oh, because that's right. Sky Attack does neutral damage against Aerodactyl. I mean, does resisted damage against Aerodactyl. Alright, so this team is actually really good. We're 2-0, so I'm going to do one more. But it looks like that's the strat with this team. The strat is to basically, with this team, is to essentially just... Okay, do we beat Mantine in a 2-shield? I forgot. So they safe switch into Mantine. I'm going to just go up to Burb and then fire. Let's see. We have Articuno and we have... Oh, crap, they Ice Beam. That's fine. We can take that. So we can take a full Ice Beam. We can break shields here. We had I forgot what they had in Elite that switched it to us, but it's okay. So it looks like the basis of Articuno in the back. Articuno is really strong in the back. I guess you could use it to just use Icy Wind and debuff, but I guess it's stronger than Mantine just because of its ice typing. So it has a little more play, I suppose. I probably going to shield here if that's an ice beam. I don't. Oh, they bubble beamed. Oh, that's annoying. It's okay. That's fine. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go for a sky attack. I'm gonna pretend it's Burb. We're gonna break this shield, and then we're gonna switch into our Articuno. And okay, so we do break the shield, and then we're gonna grab it, and then we're gonna switch to Articuno. The reason why we switch to Articuno is because we know that Ice Beam or Bubble Beam isn't gonna kill us here, and we could possibly get the Ice Beam before they do anything. Okay, so they switch into their own Articuno. This is perfect because Ancient Power. This is why, yeah, this is really interesting because we should be able to get to an Ancient Power, and this is gonna do a lot of damage. I should have, well, we could get to an ice. Yeah, we could get to 2 Ancient Powers / Ice. I should have Ancient Powered here. This should KO. Except I don't, yeah, I should have Ancient Powered. But this KOs anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So we get the KO with all that energy we stored. And then what should happen next is that they're going to come, oh, they come in with a Gligar. Oof, I guess this is where, yeah, this is just horrifying. I don't believe a Night Slash kills here. You don't get stabbed with Night Slash, and Articuno is kind of thick. Beautiful. So you can kind of just Icy Wind it to death. Icy Wind Articuno, and then after that, we have we actually still have 3 Mons and a shield. So we can let Articuno go at this point, and we can kind of just farm down with Aerodactyl, and that's GG's. This is actually a very powerful team. We've comfortably won every single scenario, and we've pretty much comfortably won every single scenario. Like, if this was Flying Cup right now, I would pretty much do the same things that I'm doing right now. And that's GG's. Wow. Articuno actually did the most damage. Skarmory took the shields, and Articuno actually swept the entire thing. Well, we got lucky that there's Gligar in the back, but still. That, as you see in summary, it's a very good team, proven to be extremely powerful. Leave shields with Articuno and with Aerodactyl, and break shields with Skarmory. And that's pretty much the strat. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you guys... Again, Articuno is expensive, but you don't have to use an Elite TM because you don't need Hurricane. So just keep that in mind. If you want to use it, your only 2 problems are actually getting one and Stardust. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Flying Cup is soon, so I hope you guys are trading well. Make sure you study, and you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on my next video.